Alright, Shove It Squad, it's everybody's favourite time of the month again, and I'm not talking about your girl giving you a golden shower. It's time for NWA Powerr. And looking ahead, there's going to be some hilarious wrestlers that have been missing from our screens returning today. Gone for far too long. Talking of the horrendous taping schedule, actually, there is some huge news coming out of the NWA this month which I need to cover. I believe that this news will be the start of the NWA regaining its spot as the third biggest wrestling show in the States. Starting on July 29th, new episodes of NWA Powerr will air every Tuesday on the Roku channel for free at 8 PM Eastern Time. Finally, no more streaming on Twitter/X. This is a huge move for the company, and they say it's their best deal in 25 years. This may not be great for international viewers, but stateside that is brilliant news. I'm also told by NWA insiders that there is other big news which hasn't come out yet, so it's truly an exciting time for the NWA. I'm crossing my feathers and hoping that the other big news which hasn't come out yet is maybe something to do with their taping schedule, or maybe they're going to be switching to a live format, I don't know. I'm just really excited to see where this company is heading. But we've got to get through some more episodes of Powerr, shot a few months ago first. It starts with a fat lady struggling to fit down a corridor. She has captured some of the NWA wrestlers and she wants to motivate them to be nice to each other. She's going to do this by pairing them with other wrestlers and forcing them to say something nice to each other. This is so weird, and actually, kind of a good idea if done right. Natalie Markova still sounds like a man. She is paired up with the Gimp. She tries to compliment him by saying he doesn't actually smell that bad and his t-shirt is nice. The Gimp's apparently a mute and he tries to give her some chewing gum. Brian Idol and Silas Mason aren't getting on. Mason says he will kill him. So much for the positivity training. We open our action this week with a 4-way tag match. The Colons, Doom 2.0, Daisy Kills and Talos, and Odinson and Kratos. Daisy Kills starts out well against Marche Rocket and hits a DDT. Talos comes in with a big boot before Epico forces his way into the match. The Mac Militant takes a cheap shot to give Doom the advantage. They want to hit a double superplex, but Talos has made a blind tag and he unleashes a huge tower spot on their asses. No pin is made, instead Kratos joins the match. He starts giving everybody power moves. Rodney Mack is hit with a flapjack and the lieutenant of the Bold Boys of Wrestling has cleared the ring. They do a Spartans chant which leads to Kratos throwing himself out of the ring. I love how one of the Colons goes flying despite being nowhere near the spot. Damien Sandow approaches the ring. Go away. He's injured following his crazy match with Bram on the last episode of Powerr. How is it that despite the terrible taping schedule, he somehow turns up on every single show? Back to the action and Marche Rocket hits a spear. Yet again no pin is made. The commentary team joke that it took the entire advert break for Sandow to make his way down the ramp. He quickly ends up hitting one of his own guys with a crutch and Daisy Kills rolls up Marche Rocket for the 3. It's elimination rules, so the match continues. Odinson hits a pounce straight away and he gets an elimination. Down to 2 teams. Kratos hits a gut wrench suplex on Primo and Odinson hits a basement clothesline. Epico makes the save. The Colons suddenly start doing stuff. Billy Corgan desperately tries to tell us that the Colons are one of the most legendary tag teams in the history of wrestling. Epico almost wins again off a short DDT and yet again off a neckbreaker. Primo misses a squash on the ropes and Odinson has the tag. He sprays paint into his own face, which is supposed to be like Popeye with his spinach. It does fire him up and he suplexes one Colon and drops the other on top. A double team is tried but fails. The ending of this match is straight out of the early 2000s WCW. It actually made the Hawk long for the days of old. One of the Colons wants to use a crutch. The ref stops him, but that distracts the ref who misses a kick to the nutsack and the Colons win with a crutch-assisted backstabber. They are now the #1 contenders for the tag titles. Wonder if Carlito's going to show up now. Slapnut's old manager, Tennessee P, is the president of the territories now. The guy he's talking to has no idea who he is though. He tells this young man that he has the body of a professional wrestler. What? No he doesn't. An even fatter lady than the last one walks up saying she will be doing an interview of him. No idea what his closing line was because the music was way too loud. I am so sick of the Brazilian chick only ever appearing on the merchandise advert. I want to see more of her. The next match may be of interest to TNA fans because it's a debut for Crazy Steve. He is now bold and somehow looks even more like a crackhead. He's somebody that Billy Corgan will be pretty familiar with as he worked closely on the Decay TNA angle. He's taken on a man called Damien Fenrir. He's in good shape, which is a rarity on this show, and he has a nice dropkick to boot. Steve tries to gnaw off his opponent's leg. Fenrir evades him with some athleticism and crushes Steve in the corner. Delayed suplex from Fenrir now. For some reason, Damien Don't Look at My Rear applies an ab stretch while spanking Crazy Steve. Steve hip tosses him away. Crazy Steve could perhaps be a new member of the Bold Boys of Wrestling. Steve puts on a tarantula-like move for a 4 count, and his clothesline almost gets him the 3. Couple of pretty nice transitions here, which we don't usually see in the NWA. Steve wins the match with a fishhook submission. Not bad at all, and a good first outing for Damien Fenn, don't look at my rear. Now we get back to the news interview from earlier. Is this chick wearing a fat suit? They give us an early history lesson about how Dolphin Alabama is famous for peanuts. They're all nuts if you ask the Hawk. This interviewer has absolutely no idea what's going on, and they just keep talking about peanuts. She then tries to flirt with Silas Mason, who ignores her. They try to cut to the weather, but they leave their mics on. Mason slips into a roid rage over literally nothing, and he leaves. The main event of this one will see the national heavyweight title on the line. The challenger is proud member of the BBW's Wrecking Ball Legursky. The champion is Big Strong Mims.
Marky D, I understand you're failing at having more viewers watch this whenever I'm not on the episodes of NWA Powerr that you're reviewing. So I am here to help you because I'm so magnanimous, so gregarious, so other words that mean generous, because I'm talking about me, the most giving, the most understanding, the most wonderful, the most magnificent national champion of all time, right? You don't have this in any other company. You only have it here at the NWA, and you only have it with big, strong Mims. That's the only way you get this. So we're going to talk about this match that I have here. All right, so I'm walking out here. I'm looking good. I'm looking delicious. Hair flowing. Hair down to my ass, man. That boy's got inches. Booker T who? Booker T who? Other people with dreads in professional wrestling who? No, it's big, strong Mims. That's what's up. That's what's up. Fun fact about me, Booker T is the whole reason I grew these things out. That's the whole reason I did that, right? Because I'm a fan at the end of the day. Just like you guys are fans, but you guys are more like marks. Yeah, marks. So this is by far my biggest challenge in the NWA by size alone, right? Biggest singles match I've had since becoming the NWA National Heavyweight Champion almost a year ago. At NWA 76 in Philadelphia. I remember when I won that. I remember when I just kept winning. That's crazy. I don't remember a time I've lost. Have I? No.
Cool story, bro. What are you benching, 300? Big strong Mims? More like big mid Mims. He looks miserable for having to face this guy. I would be too. Not so cocky now, are you, Mike the moron? It doesn't start well with the Wrecking Ball size causing issues. He hits a comedic wind-up punch. Legursky slams Mims as his boobs shake with happiness. Mims' manager tries to get involved, and Legursky tries to drag him into the ring, which allows Mims to knock the ball out of the ring. It does go better for Mims on the outside. He sends the ball bouncing into the ring pole. Mims is getting cocky now. Not sure if his 200 bench is accurate, but it would need to be much, much higher in order to manhandle this Wrecking Ball guy. He does manage to knock him down with his knee though.
Jake the Snake, you know what, he learned it from me. Big Snake Mims, that's what they call me in the streets, you know, whenever I hit that DDT. Let's see what Mims is going to do next. Oh, he's standing on his back. Look at the weight of the world, the weight of the champion on this man's back. He can't breathe. He can't breathe. But you know where he could have been breathing at? Pretty great. Could have been breathing at home. Outside of this ring, he could have never showed up. That would have been even better for him. He would have got fantastic sleep. But here I am, working overtime. Dr. Mimsy of the Super Sleep Study in the NWA, trying to put all the precious babies of the world to sleep. Starting with Wrecking Ball Legursky.
He's still being too cocky, and this time it costs him as the ball starts putting his melon head to good use.
Oh, okay. See, now I'm choking him. This is why you don't choke the champion. The champion chokes the best. Ask any woman that I've been with. They all know about that.
Mims is squashed and thrown all over the ring.
Alright, this is the worst part of it. This is the worst. Oh, a big old ass in my face. Right, as a connoisseur of thick young ladies myself, I usually like this, but I don't need the ass of the Caucasian Cannonball, Wrecking Ball Legursky. America's favorite, Big Strong Mims' least favorite ass to ever have in my fucking face.
The manager panics and causes another distraction, allowing Mims to smack him.
Surprise element, somebody hits this man with a chain in the face? Who's the mystery person? It doesn't matter because Wrecking Ball Legursky ate a hard punch and then he took that big fat L. You know what? Sorry for his troubles, but hey, a win's a win, brother. Again, a win is a win. A win is always a win in my book. And you know what? The old adage, they said cheaters never win. That's exactly what happened here. I didn't cheat, but I won. And that's just how things are supposed to be.
Blue Hoodie Man turns out to be the Bull's former Fixer tag team partner, Jay Bradley. He unleashes a vicious assault with a chain, and this is a feud nobody could possibly ever want to see.
You know what? Hey, as long as you guys all learn something here, I'm fine with turning things back over to old Marky D. Marky D. Learn something from Jay Bradley. You might actually get some viewers on this channel.
Oh, I see. So that's how you're winning your matches, Mims. Maybe I was too generous. Maybe it's actually 185. Well, to be honest, after that, it can only get better from here. On to the second show. The next episode is back at the Motivational Wrestler Workshop, except this time the bigger stars of the promotion will be taking part, unlike the jobbers from last time. They all look so awkward though. Tiffany Nez complains that EC3 tries to reinvent himself every damn week. Well, that's true. He also apparently thinks he's Shakespeare or Ric Flair. EC3 responds by reading her poetry while she looks like she loves him and hates him at the same time. These people are all just so crazy. Talking of crazy, on the other side we've got a man called Mondo. Yes, he's back. One we've all been waiting for.
What about Mondo?
Mike Mondo for NWA Champion, the leader of the Bold Boys of Wrestling, the one-man Roid Rage. He's off the gauge, the biggest star on the NWA stage. That includes Kenzie Page. He tells her that the colour of her hair sucks and she would look better with green hair. She struggles not to laugh. Then she flips out fake crying about how hard it is to maintain her nice hair, which she sold her grandmother for. This show's killing me, man. She is completely humiliated and embarrassed. Jesus, calm down. All he said is that she should dye her hair green. What a drama queen. Oh, she's faking it. I like this segment. I just have no idea what the point in any of it is. Is Mike Mondo now going to feud with Kenzie Page? Oh my god, take my money, NWA. Please let that happen. Imagine Mondo losing to the Kenzie cutter out of nowhere. The opening match will see Bold Boy wrestler scrub Pirate Paul Burchill and Joe Acasio teaming up, and they will take on EC3 and his special enforcer Pretty Boy Smooth. He's bigger than a garden shed, and you can park a Mustang on his damn forehead. I can't believe EC3 is actually wrestling on an episode of Power. It makes a change. EC3 has officially moved on from the pot noodle haircut days. It looks more like a dead poodle. He starts out with the former Pirate. Burchill throws him to the mat and works an armbar. He's having a hard time dealing with Burchill, who's mat wrestling him. EC3's manager chop blocks Acasio off the ring apron. Burchill is scared of Pretty Boy Smooth, and EC3 finally hits a clothesline and tags out. Pretty Boy nails an STO and then just hurls the Pirate across the ring like a piece of trash. EC3 back in with a Thesz press and another move which I'm not sure what it's called. The Pretty Boy tries to get the tap out win, but when that fails he hits a half Nelson slam instead. EC3 back in again, but he can't hit the 1%er. Burchill takes them both out and extends his sword to tag out. Acasio selling the attack on his knee from earlier. He hits EC3 with a stun gun and a big overhead suplex. Once again the manager tries to interfere. EC3 can't take advantage and Acasio runs away and tags the Pirate back in. EC3 slows him down by grabbing an eyelash, and Pretty Boy Smooth hits a shutter bra smacking one, and EC3 beats Pirate Pool with a 1%er. Straight from that to another match as Slade Alexander takes on Hunter Drake, who makes the boys shake. Slade Alexander seems like he's finally trying to show some personality. Hunter's too fast for him in the early go and hits some nice moves, including a springboard head scissors and a rolling kick in the corner. It's not the sort of action we usually get from the NWA. Drake gets his leg cut out on the ring apron and he's speared back into it and slammed on it. I thought Drake and Kenzie Page were supposed to be getting married months ago. Slade hits a big overhead belly to belly, but he's not in a rush to win here. Drake's comeback only annoys Slade further, who gives him a butterfly suplex now. Slade locks on a Boston, which to be fair looks like it would really hurt. A lot of submissions nowadays look kind of fake, but there was some talk on here for sure. Hunter makes the ropes. Slade tries something from the top now, which fails, and Drake flies with a middle rope dropkick. He hits a front suplex and a combo of strikes punctuated with a standing shooting star for a 2 for Hunter. He misses his next dive though, and he's caught and hit with a damn Oklahoma Stampede. Not sure how that's just a 2. The bean kicks in and Slade rolls Hunter around so he can pick him up and eventually put on an ankle lock. Hunter reverses that and gets a 2. Both guys strike at each other, it's pretty hard going, and Drake wins that and hits a German suplex. But Slade Alexander no-sells it and takes his head off with a clothesline. Surprisingly, this Hunter kid has still got something left in the tank as he hits a moonsault off the apron. Kenzie Page, who makes the boys rage, stomps down the ramp. She tells her boyfriend to finish him off. Well, obviously, what did you expect him to do? This distracts Drake, who eventually flies but misses. Slade puts on the Slade lock and he wins. Wow, that was actually a really good nice clash of styles. This was honestly just as good as any offering from the big companies. If this Drake guy can find a bit of character, he could be quite good. We now head to a shop somewhere. It's Silage Mason. He's in a video game shop asking for stuff to celebrate Pride Month. He then asks for naughty magazines or something. This is apparently preparation for his upcoming Crockett Cup match. Now this is a trend you'll see on the next 2 shows. This guy is randomly giving the wrestlers advice. He tells him to abandon the Southern Six faction. Mike Mondo then randomly walks in. He's looking for a gym. Well, why is he here? What the hell is wrong with these people? It's like if I was looking for a Burger King so I walked into Primark. Everybody would think you were insane. The shopkeeper wants to check that Mondo is ready for his upcoming match against Max the Impaler. Why are they having these conversations with a shop employee? The segment goes to hell as they keep stumbling over their words, and I'm struggling to understand the point. I think the shopkeeper is trying to sow seeds of discontent with the Southern Six, but why a shopkeeper would have a horse in this race is beyond the hawk. He thinks Silage Mason should be doing singles matches, not tag matches. And why Mike Mondo is here too, I really have no idea. That ends, and Austin Idol is now with a man called Frank, who he describes as somebody who's eaten broken glass for breakfast. Frank just stares into space and has no idea what's going on. The following match will determine the number 1 contender for the world title. It's actually a tournament final match, but I forgot all about this. Colby Corino takes on the man called Frank. Imagine if the man called Frank becomes the champion. The man formerly known as Murphy gets jumped on his way into the ring. It doesn't help, and Frank manhandles his opponent and across the ring. Corino tries to go high-flying, but he's stopped halfway out the ring and smashed on the apron. Pretty cool. They fight on the outside for ages, and the ref has lost control as Frank sends Corino into the steps. He isn't done and powerbombs him on the ring apron. Colby crawls into the ring with tears dripping down into his nappy. He can't do anything, and Frank hits him with a gutbuster. Frank hits a slam and starts gorming out. This guy is a menace. Brian Idol takes a cheap shot. That fires up Colby, but he's taken far too much damage. Side slam from Frank now. The arena looks like it's caught on fire again. Colby tries a dive, which is caught, and Frank hits a sack of shit. Colby hasn't landed a single move in this match. Frank continues slowly beating on him as the commentary team point out that Frank is too gassed. Corino manages to kick him off the apron and hits a dive out of the ring into a DDT on the outside. What a way to hit your first move of the match. Colby gets him back into the ring and he climbs, but his dive is blocked and Frank hits a chokeslam. No, it's just a 2. Frank finally shows some emotion for the first time. He can't believe it. He tries his choke bomb finisher, which is reversed by Colby into a pin for the 3. He is going on to get a world title shot now. Wow, I'm in shock. 2 really fun matches on an NWA show. This is up there with the best episodes in recent memory. We've got some random stuff, some Mike Mondo, and 2 great matches. Hopefully our 3rd and final episode can live up to that. Okay, so we're still doing this motivational counselling stuff. I wish they'd just stick to 1 theme per show. It turns into overkill, but again, there's no point in me complaining about the schedule. It falls on deaf ears. Big Strong Mims is reluctantly dragged forward. The guy wants to know what he's afraid of, but Mims keeps saying he's afraid of nothing, so the guy concludes that he's afraid of telling the truth. Much eye-rolling is being done by the NWA roster. No idea who this guy is. It happens on every show. A random guy just shows up and they expect us to know who they are. He's afraid of the man in the mirror. A dork. Kenzie Page is afraid of doing any moves which aren't Kenzie cutters. Drake is afraid of going bold. Well, at least this show is self-aware because 3/4 of the roster are BBWs. Tiffany Nez is looking fine tonight. She is afraid of other people's insecurities. Oh wow, look, it's the world champion. How nice for him to finally show up on the 3rd show. He says he's the king of the world and he's the NWA champion, not afraid of anything. It then just abruptly ends. What was the point in any of this? I don't know, practicing their character work? They decide to throw all the biggest jobbers on the roster into a 6-man tag. I hate all of these people so much. Smalls is called the most popular wrestler on the roster. If that's the case, NWA is screwed. The Caterpillar move is admittedly over with the crowd though. The big man tries to have a hot tag, but he misses his spinning heel kick. This is really bad, and then they just repeat the spot. Stackhouse almost falls out of his nappy. This misery guy looks like he drinks piss water for his dinner. Nice spot though, where his handspring is caught and he's hit with a spinning powerbomb. Misery responds with a falling back cutter for a 2. The little man is then sandwiched with boots. Oh no. Stackhouse takes his top off again. His boobs shake vigorously as he tries a dive which fails. I really wish I hadn't seen that. Misery ends up beating Tyler Franks with a tombstone piledriver. No idea why these people are still on the show. They look so indie-rific, although I've admitted before Alex Misery does have some good moves. He just makes me miserable. And maybe that's the point. Time for another fake news report. Who the hell is this girl? Is she a wrestler? Why is she suddenly getting loads of screen time out of the blue? Tennessee P marches up and takes over the segment. Considering the lack of women on these 3 shows, it was slim pickings for the Hawk, and it wasn't my proudest moment. Tennessee wants to apologise to her for being a dick on the previous show. Why is this on the show? Back at ringside, and the fixer Jay Bradley has taken on one of the lowest ranked wrestlers of the BBWs, a man called Slex. What a horrible name. He looks almost identical to Pepper Parks. He drop kicks Bradley out of the ring and hits a pretty nice dive out of the ring. Jay Bradley slowly smacks him in his bald head but then runs into the ring pole. I fell asleep during this match and woke up to Bradley hitting his broomstick clothesline for the win. I've never really felt that move looked impactful enough to be a finisher, but it is what it is. Back at the counselling session, La Princesa is feeling very grateful and says she's gained a lot from this. Well, at least somebody has. She brags for ages about how great she is and wants to go one-on-one with the bold guy. There's lots of low-key sex jokes about climax. She keeps using the word climax, so it has to be deliberate. She looks like she's either going to pounce on him or beat on him. I have no idea what that was, but at least it's character progression for her. I can't complain as she is one of the better wrestlers on the show. We should be getting more of her. This show might be sucking badly, but suddenly it turns awesome because the arena goes dark and it's finally the return of Indiana Jones and his beast man with his bone. The funny dramatic music is playing. Man, I love Stone Rockwell and the Temple of Doom. They should be on every show. What I didn't realise is that Indiana Jones has wrestled on the lower tier TNA and AEW shows. Seems like a guy just waiting for a break. Hopefully we can help him out. It's just so out there and crazy and I honestly love it. This fat dude has his stupid bone and Indiana Jones is his handler. They take on Baron Von Storm and his weird new friend Brandon Beretta. The Beast anxiously chews on its bone. Beretta looks like Storm's unwanted son. Rockwell and Beretta start with a handshake. We go from that to an exchange of holds which Indy wins. Beretta now rolls him into a waistlock. The Baron makes a blind tag and he hits a simple smack into Beretta's German suplex. Storm signals for the claw, but Rockwell dumps in his nappy affair and tags his Beast in. Then, for some reason, Rockwell changes his mind and doesn't want the Beast to come in. Beastman keeps trying to make tags, but somehow he's too fat to reach. Baron Storm miserably tags out. Back to the waistlocks we go again. Rockwell powers out of it and hits a big-time gutbuster. Indiana Jones has discovered something more painful than a punch to the gut. Now the Beastman does tag in and he hits a big-time crossbody. The Beastman then puts his massive size to good use. Beretta must be dead after the cannonball. Indiana Jones tags back in by slapping his own partner in the face. Look at this double teaming from the Temple of Doom. It's the pitfall. Somehow, Tim Storm is too old and slow to break up the pin. He didn't even really try. It's over. The Beastman desperately rips apart some food, but they've forgotten about Tim Storm. Dramatic music plays as Tim Storm puts the claw on. I love this so much. The Beastman is busy eating plastic and doesn't realise what's going on. He eventually does realise, but he's too weak to save his partner. Brandon Beretta shows Tim Storm the globe, which as usual calms him down and makes him release the hold. The show ends with more Tiffany Nez. She's back in the nerd shop. She asks if the shopkeeper is the guy. She looks like she's trying to score something. But no, she wants him to tell her about wrestling. He points out that she is not a tag team champion. She says she does have an upcoming shot and will be the champion soon. He writes down his phone number on the back of a paracetamol packet. He tells her he can get Mudstar to manage her in a world title tag match. I'm so confused. Why would the shopkeeper have any pull or sway over the NWA roster? Kratos walks up, calling the shopkeeper a mark. Tiffany is angered by the interruption. We end the show on a fade out of the shopkeeper's miserable face. How random. Man, these shows, they are so strange, and I just love how things don't make sense and are never explained. It really lets your creative mind fill in the blanks. So let me tell you where the Hawk's mind went. This shopkeeper is secretly selling steroids to the bold boys of wrestling, and therefore he has influence and power over the roster. One day his influence is going to lead to a power struggle storyline against Billy Corgan, so they're building that up. I enjoyed these 3 shows, but are they too crazy and off the wall for some of you? Honestly, with it moving to Roku from the end of the month, I hope some of you do give it a chance. I started out ripping on these shows for the NWA, and now it's the highlight of the month for me. These matches are all the perfect length to keep my attention. It's random, it's funny, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be, but it is, and it's refreshing to see new faces in wrestling. I think if any of you who are watching would describe yourself as a lapsed wrestling fan, just give the NWA a chance. Yeah, the roster does not have any star power, but it feels closer to the wrestling that you used to love. If they can sort out their taping schedule, and with the new streaming deal, this will be a strong third option in US wrestling. You've just got to use your imagination, and if you can't do that, you're an inbred relation.